I stared out of the airplane window, watching the clouds slowly swallow the city I once called home. Los Angeles disappeared beneath me, taking my friends, my school, and the version of my life I thought I was meant to live. My dad kept saying that moving to Scotland was a fresh start, but to me it felt like starting over without being asked. When we finally arrived, the house didn't help. It was old, massive, and quiet in a way that made every sound echo. The stone walls felt like they were holding secrets, and the long hallways made me feel smaller with every step. That night, while wandering through the attic, I noticed a cracked mirror slightly pulled away from the wall. Behind it, hidden and wrapped in cloth, was a silver crown. Beneath it laid an old letter, yellowed with age. It read, "If you are reading this, the crown has chosen you." I laughed at first, but when my fingers touched the cold metal, a strange pressure settled in my chest, and the room around me seemed to fade away. 300 years earlier, in the kingdom of Aeloria, Princess Ilara stood before the royal court dressed in gold she had never asked for. The hall was filled with celebration, yet her heart felt unbearably heavy. She was to marry Prince Rowan, a man everyone admired. He was kind, polite, and perfect in every way that mattered to politics. But whenever he spoke to Ilara, Ilara felt nothing at all. It was as if her heart remained silent, refusing to respond. The only person in the palace who never treated her like a fragile jewel was Captain Kale, the head of the royal guard. He was sharp-tongued, battle-worn, and unimpressed by titles. Where others bowed, he questioned. Where others agreed, he challenged her. Their conversations often turned into arguments, filled with tension and wit, and yet Ilara found herself looking for him in every room. There was something dangerous and honest about him that made her feel alive. The kingdom believed the crown chose rulers by blood, but that belief was a lie passed down for generations. The crown chose by truth. When Prince Rowan finally placed it on his head, the room erupted in chaos. Magic surged violently as the crown burned him, throwing guards back and filling the hall with screams. By morning, Rowan accused Kale of treason, claiming he had cursed the crown. Ilara was given no time to think. She had one night to choose between silence and losing the only man who ever saw her as human, rather than royalty. She chose Kale. Under the cover of darkness, they fled into the mountains, hunted by soldiers sworn to protect her. The journey was harsh. The nights were freezing, the paths dangerous, and the fear constant. They argued, laughed, and survived together. Around a small campfire one night, Kale admitted that he had been trained to die for the crown, but had never been allowed to live for himself. In that moment, Ilara realized that love was not calm and safe. It was terrifying, honest, and real. Their escape ended in fire and steel when Rowan finally found them. Swords clashed and the mountains echoed with the sounds of battle. In the chaos, Ilara grabbed the crown with trembling hands. She understood the truth now. She placed it on Kale's head. This time, the crown did not burn. Instead, it glowed softly, warm and steady. The kingdom had finally chosen its truth. Ilara gave up the throne, and Kale refused the crown. Together, they rebuilt the kingdom, not as rulers bound by tradition, but as partners who chose each other freely. Power no longer came from blood or fear, but from honesty and trust. Suddenly, the attic returned around me. I gasped, still holding the silent silver crown in my hands. I finally understood what the story was trying to teach me. Love was not about popularity, perfection, or the life everyone expected you to want. It was about choice. The next morning, my dad called me downstairs and asked if I was ready for my first day. For the first time since arriving, I smiled. Maybe this place wasn't the end of my story after all. Maybe it was the beginning of a new one. Sometimes the crown doesn't choose who we expect. It chooses who we truly need.